All we can do now is pray.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our
trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation.
I think the trick of reimagining iconic movies like Halloween or The Exorcist is taking some stuff from the original movie and then inventing new things.
Catherine.
I look at it as a franchise where you can explore, you can ask questions.
I want my mother and I want her right now!
The true roller coaster of this production is being able to find joy in darkness, find the community in loneliness. I'm looking to put my fingerprints in this material, in this world with these characters. In my initial research of this film and the narrative we were sculpting, I found cases of up to 5 people that were dealing with possession from an entity. For me, that was exciting. Let's explore a synchronized possession. If we can funnel a few of these voices into a narrative with 2 girls, we can take on some of those complications and conflicts, but we can do it in a manageable way for a 2-hour movie.
Action.
To me, this franchise is about childhood, parenthood, and journeys in the uncertain.
I feel like I won a fan contest. I'm one of the biggest Exorcist fans that you will meet. When I heard that David was making this movie, I sent my agent an email, like, just so you know, this is a dream project. FYI, just do with that what you will. And 7 or 8 months later, I got a call to join David on this adventure.
Leslie wrote a letter, I guess when he first heard that we were cooking up an Exorcist movie.
Hey!
And that was exciting, because I'm a fan of his. When I talked to him about it, we just hit it off and said, let's just dive into this and see what happens.
It's pretty convincing.
Right?
What's this made of?
It's an edible ink. It's food coloring.
I've grown up with a fascination of religions of all sorts. And this was an opportunity to take a lot of different perspectives of possession and explore it through a variety of characters and their perspective of religion.
Exorcism is a ritual. Every culture, every religion, they all use different methods.
The evolution of this project began with some of my inspiration from Ellen and the original Exorcist. Then I started anchoring my drama of the synchronized possession, the story of new parents, and thought, what is Chris MacNeil doing? How did this affect her? Would Ellen Burstyn even take my phone call?
Playing a character that I created 50 years ago, who has she become? What are the experiences that happened to her those 50 years? And how does that affect the person she is now? And that started to interest me creatively. And I realized that we are, in any moment of time, the sum total of everything that's happened to us and how it's become part of our character. She knows who I am. And I thought that was an interesting, creative challenge to explore. Where's the other girl?
I just remember when I first saw The Exorcist being so shaken by Ellen's work because it's disarming in its humanity and its honesty.
Having Ellen in the movie is really an amazing way to connect this movie to the first movie, which I think is very satisfying.
We knew how incredible of an actress she was and what she could bring to this and to the rest of the cast.
Oh, thank God.
We're following Chris MacNeil on her return to the stage of exorcism.
It's just natural to me. I feel at home on a set. Thank you very much.
What was most striking to me was how present she is. When she drops into the scene, there's stillness, and that's a beautiful thing. I was very struck by it.
She grounded and blessed me as a scene partner. She gave me this huge hug, and then we dug right in. What do you think?
I think we're ready. Following in the footsteps of Linda Blair is an extraordinary quest. I wanted it to be a relative discovery, and then I met Lidya and Olivia.
Those 2 young girls, their work is extraordinary. Very, very talented.
You can tell that they've developed a friendship. You can tell that they've worked really hard on what they're doing together. And what's better than 1 possessed girl, but 2? It's insanity.
In 34 years I've been in this business, I don't think I've ever seen a performance as good from an adult than from these two girls, and I'm 100% serious about that.
My mom, she was always so supportive of me doing this, but she was like, I don't want to play around with demons and the devil, so just to be safe, let's go get you a blessing. I'd rather be safe than sorry.
I gave my dog a lot of hugs. That's what I did. I spent so much time with her and my sister and getting that feeling with my family, and then when I came here, I just tried to be like as bubbly as possible and as happy as possible, I think, because I knew just like subconsciously what was coming.
What was that? Oh, look at that. Look at these goosebumps.
We've met before.
Are you looking for Reagan?
Ellen Burstyn, she's working with a 12-year-old who's never acted, who's in 2.5 hours of prosthetic makeup. It was tricky in a lot of ways to navigate both the difference in experience and skill sets and age and energy and try to find a common ground where we could all find characters that we believed in, let them feel authentic. Go with your intuition here. Feel the pain.
David really allows me to discover who Catherine is and who Demon Catherine is. Like, these are totally opposite ends of the spectrum.
See Chris and sculpt her, like trace her outline.
Okay.
And like, you know, and even your picture against stab her in the eye, you can start to feel that. Okay. And you feel your hands drawn to that. I think that'll be a really fun way to play. And I like the strong voice. I think that's fun.
He's super collaborative with us.
That's the thing about David. He first wants to see our instincts. I'll be like, David, I don't know what I'm doing. He'll be like, I just want to see your instincts. And then it turns out great.
Part of my job is just being able to create an environment where I'm letting the actors do what they do so well.
It's really fun just because it makes set just feel so much more fun and open, which is so important to have the best performance that you can.
When I'm editing, there's going to be a question here while a prayer there. There's going to be a statement there while there's a prayer. So they'll all be overlapping in a way. A lot of it will be. So I want to make sure we have those options. And so I'm trying to keep it, you know, so I can have some isolated things to cut to. I think it's going to be great. We'll condense time and like you see in those cuts. It's just there can be moments of pause and stillness and quiet and singular isolated lines, and then there's moments where everything is kind of congested and overwhelming. We did a lot of rehearsal, blocked out the space, tape on the floor, let's audition this idea, let's audition that idea. And then on the day, we throw all the rules out the door, we have our ambitions and our game plan, and then we immediately just let it become this organic, growing, creative stage. All this feels great to me. The spontaneity is key. Now, the fireball spits from the fireplace.
I feel very, very close to this cast. From what we've gone through and what we're doing together, they're just an extraordinary group of actors.
I could not ask for a better cast. And when we're in the chair and there's this circle of people around us, it just feels like this big circle of love. Yeah. And it's awesome, honestly.
David's really good at giving you something that's familiar, but with a spin and with a twist, that it feels new.
The legacy of this franchise was captivating for generation after generation, and I can only hope that this movie captures those curiosities, that it can kind of feed those appetites.
Stand by for picture, please.
We knew this couldn't be another remake. It had to be a continuation. And who better to assist than the determined, formerly non-believer, Chris MacNeil.
For me, when Ellen Burstyn walks on set, I'm in the presence of Hollywood royalty. So I get goosebumps. I get excited about what we're going to create together.
I'm not going to stand there and let her do it again.
She cracks a joke, and all of a sudden, you're just there with a collaborator. You invite Linda Blair, and we're trying to figure out where are we right now. We knew we were tapping into something a little bit beyond just our obvious film production of a sequel. I think this...
No, this is part of the handout moment. These are the ticks.
When they wrote this project and tried to figure out, should I be part of it, should I not be part of it, we worked with, where did my story go? We will know Chris MacNeil's journey, but will we know Reagan's journey? Ellen Burstyn is probably one of the most extraordinary actresses Ellen, for me, working so many years ago, was incredibly giving. There was a mother-daughter type relationship, and she knew that. She was there for me always. And so to bring that back to the story and to mold this new time for both of them was a moment that had to be very special.
There's no richer experience in my life than being creative and working with someone who's also creative, and we're in this thing together.
What David brought to me, I thought was something that the audience would really enjoy. Unfortunately, what Chris MacNeil had to go through for Reagan to return was kind of a devilish action, but it is what brings Reagan home.
I feel them. I feel the girls. I feel them.
Ellen and Linda had not seen each other in many years.
To mold this new time for both of them was a moment that had to be very special.
I'd been in communication with both of them, and then for a sequence, I said, if you two haven't seen each other in these many years, we're rolling cameras, and I would like to film that reunion as you see each other again. No one on the crew knew Linda was there. In fact, on the call sheet it said Bartholomew, and everybody's like, who's Bartholomew? We're rolling, and Ellen knew there was gonna be a moment, but she's blindfolded. The silence was deafening.
Hey, Mark.
And action.
Victor, is that you?
No, Mom. It's me.
And we cut. All right, let's keep it quiet, please.
We cut, and then everybody was hugging and high-fiving. There was just that moment of celebration of we just were a part of this thing.
You okay? Yeah. Yeah.
Your voice got so deep.
It did, didn't it? The union between Ellen and I think it's cinematic history.
A little different than when we started, didn't we? Oh, go like this.
The first time that I saw any of the demon makeup is when I went to the special effects office in California. They showed me this picture of Catherine, and it was insane. I was super excited.
I had a makeup test, and all of a sudden I look in the mirror and it's not me. I remember seeing it and just thinking, wow, and that's when it hit me.
That lighter roll, guys, we're getting close here.
I always love working with Chris Nelson. He brings so much to the table.
Just give a representation of it. The main note that I got from David was it all had to be based in reality. It all had to be something that could plausibly happen to these girls. Ready for some of this?
Yeah.
I'm not putting that much.
There's 3 stages of possession. There's naughty, there's nasty, and then there's gnarly.
David and I went through the script. We mapped it out based on the arc of these 2 girls. These aren't zombies and these aren't demons, so to speak. These are girls that are afflicted with evil from within. So how does that manifest itself physically through these little girls?
He's waiting for you.
The first phase, initially you just feel a little off. There's a redness to the eyes, slight receding hairline. Then as things get more violent, they might be cutting themselves, scratching themselves. The physical attributes get a little bit nastier. And then by the climax of our film, literally the extreme physical frustrations manifesting themselves in these girls, then that's when it's full-on prosthetic and Christopher and his team get up and get gnarly.
You can definitely see throughout the film that the little girl starts fading away as time goes on and the demon becomes more prominent. Olivia, her makeup was based on her pulling her hair out. It's like she's yanking and pulling her hair, and so the makeup involves taking away her whole hairline and receding it. We didn't want to distort her so much. We wanted to keep her basic silhouette, but we still have her little freckles in there to give you that connection to innocence. In the script, Lydia's character, Angela, is banging her head a lot. So I honestly thought to myself, well, how do we deform this girl and make her look weird, but we do it plausibly? Well, let's have swelling. Her forehead swells up, her cheek swells up. Her makeup is based on her banging her head a lot and her face swelling because of it.
Makeup is usually around 3 hours, and it's the best 3 hours to start my day with. I love watching them work. After 27 hours, you get in the makeup and you really realize that some of the smaller things really make all the difference, and they're a lot more pronounced when you're in the makeup. And I guess that's something I kind of had to adjust to.
They are so expressive and they work that makeup. Honestly, it wouldn't work as well if it wasn't for their performance. They work in tandem with the makeup.
The makeup definitely helps because you have a place to go to.
Having those small moments where the makeup just emphasizes them even more, I think that's what creeps people out, which is the goal.
They're not afraid to move their face and really express and really bring that character out. They honestly 100% make it better, and that's really rare.
I found it a bit more difficult to be more creepy and more scary with half of it on than I do with most of it on.
All right, guys, first team coming to set.
The first day that we had them both in their most extreme makeup, everyone kept coming up to me going, it's incredible.
The first time I saw her, I just walked in, and it is a total transformation. It is otherworldly.
Lidya and Olivia are amazing. These girls have such total commitment. It's like, this is horrifying.
Those two young girls, just the way they use their voices and the way they use their bodies, never seen anything like it. Really remarkable.
When you're in the demon makeup, it just feels natural, if natural is the right word to use, you know, but it doesn't feel as polar opposite to you as a person because you are embodying that character, not just mentally and vocally, but also physically.
We'll open it up on the back. There's a big zipper, goes all the way down here, so we can let them in, and then they'll be glued in. So 15 or 16 pieces, including the horns. So it's a lot. It's intense. It's a very intense character, yeah.
The design phase for Lamash 2 was a couple months or so. We came to a happy medium between the supernatural and the reality. Lamash 2 is naked. There's no clothes to hide anything. And so it all has to be seamless and blend together and be epic and big and monumental. I think we nailed it.
We really go into the kitchen together and whip up something special every time. It's so cool to have an artist that still has such a love and passion for what he does. Christopher Nelson, he's the best in the business.
It's not just the makeup. Until it's on camera and works within the lighting and the context of the film, then I'm happy.
One of the things I love about the original Exorcist is it starts in this exotic locale and in these curious characters. It's very ambiguous as to what's going on, but it's captivating, it's rhythmic, it's mysterious. And then it steps away from that And that was one of the ingredients in the original film that I thought would be smart to take to our film, of show us a place that's not our everyday world, but show how that affects some characters, and then let's step forward in time several years and then find our modern day.
So we take our last trip to Haiti. My wife and I, she's got family in Haiti.
Similar to the way Iraq set the tone for the original Exorcist, Haiti introduces this film to cultures around the world.
We're recreating a point in time in Port-au-Prince, and it's a beautiful Haitian community in the Dominican Republic where we filmed, and their markets and beautiful architecture, beautiful, colorful character. We just had an extraordinary time recreating Haiti in the DR and finding Haitian actors and trying to bring authenticity to the voices and the experiences of everyone we'd turn a camera on.
Seren is taken to this voodoo priestess, and she's blessed in this incredible, authentic ritual, and you really feel that authenticity on the screen because this woman was an actual priestess, and she did an actual cleansing of Seren, and everybody on set felt it. There's something exotic, something foreign, something a little unsettling about being away from home. The opening kind of does two things. I think it sets up their relationship, the love that they have for each other, their sense of adventure, but also there's a little bit something else going on here.
Another element that's really striking about the original Exorcist is the aggressive and often jarring sound design and picture cuts. So the frame after a word has been spoken, there's a hard cut to a subway train blowing past. There's numerous examples throughout that movie where sound design and the pulse and pace of picture cutting is integral to the unstable ground of the movie. And so my editor, Tim Alverson, and our sound design team wanted to kind of emulate that in certain ways.
I did a lot of jarring cuts in and out, and I hadn't done that, so that was a lot of fun approaching the movie like that.
Our opening is very rhythmic, and if it's barking dogs or the clicking of a camera, these elements are reminiscent from some of the sound design of the original film.
A lot of terrible things happen in our movie, but that's not why I showed up, right? Rally around a story really that's about the power of love in the face of literal obstacles, spiritual obstacles, emotional obstacles. So it's a love story, you know? He comes to Haiti with the love of his life. He's pregnant with their new love, and we follow that where it leads.
We were filming an earthquake. And what was maybe 5 lines in a screenplay ended up an entire day of work.
So unreal to watch people embrace. This is a scary scene. An earthquake is happening. What do you do?
3, 2, 1, action!
Because this was shot such a documentary style and really in there with what was going on, that gave it such a different intensity that you wouldn't get if the camera was far away. You were really in there with them.
3, 2, 1, go!
And it was scary. I mean, I had so many people tell me yesterday how they teared up or got chill bumps by watching everybody's performance.
As someone trying to put the creative pieces together, you're looking for an emotional truth in these moments. It can be really rewarding and cathartic on some levels, and it can also just put you in a dark mindset about the realities of the way the Earth works sometimes.
It's a difficult choice. We cannot save them both.
And then you try to look through those events and see the humanity that comes out of it and the people that hold each other and care for each other and survive together, or more than the ones that didn't. And if this movie is the perspective of community that I'm intending, Tragic events result in these types of unity so often. You know, it's not necessarily just about the fracture and the catastrophe, but it's about bringing people together in those times of crisis.
The Dominican Republic brought an energy and cultural richness to the film that David Gordon Green captured beautifully on screen.
The opening of every movie, as an audience member, I can say, if I'm not dropped in, if I don't believe the relationships right away, if I don't understand the stakes and believe in the world right away, it's really hard to get me back. So we're certainly doing everything we can from frame one, minute one, to make sure that it is steeped in veracity and nuance and humanity so that we don't lose them for a moment.
Filming the climax of this movie was like running a marathon. It's all day, every day. It's emotional, it's intense.
A lot of craziness happens, and everybody gets their moment in there to try and excise these girls.
And there's an energy there that I don't find in a slasher movie that I'm making or in a comedy that I'm filming, where it feels like a little bit more loose. This felt very tense.
We're all working to literally exorcise these demons together, and everybody's in the moment and everybody's feeling it. That energy is big and it's palpable.
It's very intense, and you're in a very vulnerable situation. Has to be trust, has to be, and knowing you're safe.
When you're in the demon makeup, when you're strapped to the chair, it just feels natural because you are embodying that character, not just mentally and vocally, but also physically.
My favorite part is finding those moments where it's just the calm before the storm. And I think that's what's super creepy.
I just hadn't seen something that intense, that real, and it really affected me.
Cut. Great, got it. Got it. Beautiful. This is the fourth film I've worked on with Tim, and on top of just the background of genre films that he has as an editor, he's excited and open to reinventing.
David is so trusting, so collaborative. He allows me to cut outside the box that I normally put myself in. He really pushes me to try different things, and I love that. I know David's style, and I felt like I was getting a lot of that in this movie, a lot of handheld and things like that. He does a lot of cheating sound into the existing picture. He'll just want some different inflection of dialogue, and we usually just cheat it right into the picture, and you'd never know we've done that. And he likes to do that. I think he just enjoys doing that.
And I love you, and I'm sorry I took the scar from you.
Horror is something I loved as a kid. Exorcist, of course, when you're a kid, that's a big movie. So I felt like I came full circle to cut David's new one. For the Exorcism finale, I started taking character selects, making a group of each character that I could then just go to and know I'd have my favorite shots there and pull from that. Starting with Dowd, she's reading from the Roman ritual book, and she's reading a lot of dialogue.
Ye avenge God!
So I wanted to cut all her best performances together as one piece. And then where I wanted to put the demon girls in, I was able to just go to my pieces of them and pop them in to the scene.
Come meet your daughter.
John Revs, I would call one of my extra characters that I would use more for pacing the scene.
Demon! Your voice must be silent. Submit to God.
On this one more, let's do verbalize. Like when the water hits you, it burns, right? As much as you try to lock in a game plan and know what you're gonna do the day, once you get this ensemble together and their preparation has added up to this moment, then the spontaneity is key. And an actor may have an idea or an impulse, or guess what? I'm behind the camera and I'm possessed with an idea that I want to present to an actor. So in the moment, rather than cut and give a note in their ear, I'm gonna shout something out and we're gonna feel this moment, and let's not interrupt what we're experiencing right now. I think that's important in a movie like this, that you don't just script it, engineer it, rehearse it, execute it. I think you have to feel it. And in order for the audience to feel it, I have to certainly feel it.
It It was all about performance. I thought it was amazing footage. I had so much fun cutting that together. Horror is fun. It's really fun to watch the audience react to a good horror movie. So what makes the process fun is to go and see what's working, what's not working, make adjustments to it, and make sure those scares work.
It's one thing to be taken over by somebody coming in the room and tying you up, but the idea of an inner force being able to get possession of you and you can't control it, I don't think there's anything more terrifying.
Growing up, I was a kid that went to church every Sunday, but I was also the kind of annoying kid that would ask questions and challenge the institution a little bit and wonder what was beyond. And then with this movie, my research began as naive curiosity, wondering various religious perspectives on possession and various rituals and ceremonies that paralleled the demonic universe that we were exploring. And then it was a chance to talk to academics and priests of all sorts and be recommended books to read. Is that enough of a saying instead of the
You could
cup
say
of salvation?
Yeah.
You could just say
You
that.
could do. It can be all the above.
Okay, great.
They wanted to get it right, and that's what made this really interesting. They wanted to make sure when they were portraying the Baptist community that they were portraying it accurately. How do people sound? What kind of robes does the choir wear? But much more particularly, they wanted to know, what is it like to take communion?
The body and the blood.
Everything from genuflecting to make the sign of the cross to help to incense gifts and make it look right.
They had already picked out this great Baptist church. The church has this very authentic wood-based outside. It had these red crosses on the doors. Like, it looked like a country church where you could drive up and there might just be snakes under the pews.
And action.
There are rituals in every religion, in every country, in every culture, and they're all different because they all have different belief systems. They have different gods, they have different demons, but there are certain similarities. And the exorcisms work.
Possession, oppression, even my friends that are current practicing pagans and Wiccans will talk about energy attacks, are building a shield around them to keep from that negative energy or negative vibes getting to them. So I think it's across all religions.
This is a very dangerous situation. Dangerous for you, Father. Dangerous for the Catholic Church.
Please understand, I have prayed with her.
No Catholic priest without permission from his bishop is allowed to be involved in exorcisms. This is a very precise spirituality that they want to oversee. It's far too dangerous. No one even knows who an exorcist in a diocese is. It's completely anonymous. It's for his protection and for the protection of people that that priest may be helping.
We must move forward as soon as possible with this ritual, with the help of all of you, lest the lives of 2 of our Lord's young children be lost.
What we've seen in Southern Baptist churches is that there's no formal training. There's no particular person. Everyone might speak in tongues and excise demons.
Submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you.
In Pentecostal America, there's no one in charge. And so most people who do exorcisms are known in the community. It wouldn't be uncommon to know someone up in another valley that has done this before.
It's going to take all of us.
I like it. It takes all kinds. We're here. We're together.
I think demonic possession is a way that people can explore ideas of who am I, who's within me, with my community that might see something within my characteristics or behavior that they find questionable. Can they pull something out of me through relationships, love, intervention, all of these things that I find really curious. And I think a possession movie is a way that we can explore some of those themes.
The body and the blood! The body!